Downtown Elon proposals leave residents and business owners in disarray. We found out what the Board of Aldermen plan to do to address the concerns.
It's Sunshine Day as journalists and government officials discuss open records. Sleet and rain fell outside. Will it continue? We'll have your 5-day forecast.
And the gloves are coming on. Our Jeff Ackerman throws some punches later in the show. Good evening, Elon. I'm Megan Ford.
And I'm Sky Cowens. Elon Local News starts right now. We begin tonight with the proposed downtown Elon master plan. The town and university split the $160,000 cost to create this proposal, and it was met with some disapproval from residents and business owners who are asking why they weren't consulted. We are covering this story from all angles. Our Megan Ford leads us off tonight with a story of some Elon residents who say they were left out of discussions. Megan?
Sky, this new plan took most Elon business owners by surprise. I spoke to one owner who felt that he was left out of the loop. Acorn Inn co-owner Mike Brown found out about the downtown Elon proposal in a way he didn't expect.
I saw it in the front page of the newspaper that gets delivered here every morning. And that's when I noticed, hey, we're not on here.
Brown built the Acorn Inn from the ground up 13 years ago with his wife and still runs it with his family.
Designed it, we built it. It's our concept.
But if this downtown plan goes through, this inn could be out.
That's one big if. It's not a blank canvas. And there's a lot of affected property owners inside the 8-block area.
Brown says his problem isn't the plan itself, but how it was presented.
We're just going to set the stage right out of the gate, blindside everybody, and then expect their cooperation after we've already poked them in the eye.
And some Elon students like Nick Margarita share the same feeling. If the plan goes through, Margarita will have to say goodbye to his house.
But as a graduating senior, we're pretty excited to see Elon expand, I guess. So in a sense, we're excited to see something new, but we're going to miss his house. We're definitely going to miss it.
Going forward, Brown says he still has some questions he wants answered.
There's a lot of cracks to be filled in. People have questions. So I think a little bit more, a period of Q&A, a period of voting is required.
He hopes the board will be more straightforward in the future.
The Board of Aldermen will meet tomorrow to discuss this plan. Alex Rose is live in downtown Elon with more information on what's next for this proposal. Alex?
Sky, Alderman Mark Green understands why some people were caught off guard when they first heard about this proposal. Now, after talking to some of the members of the board this weekend, they want to make one thing very clear, that this is a proposal. No action can be taken unless the business and property owners are on the same page as the board. The board actually has a retreat tomorrow, but the next regular scheduled meeting is on April 1st. They want to work with the community before that meeting.
They could certainly be involved in that process. And I think that's where, we should have gotten with them again ahead of time, because obviously the intent there was not to take them off the table. So I think from this point forward, we'll certainly work a lot more with them.
Now, after business owners and residents work with the board, then the plans will go to a vote. If the vote passes, Alderman Davis Montgomery says the transition will start slowly by adding trash cans, benches, and streetlights to give the area more of a park-like feel. Again, if the plans are adopted, the estimated time of completion could be anywhere between 10 and 30 years, so we won't see any major changes in our immediate future. We'll keep you updated. In downtown Elon, I'm Alex Rose. Megan and Sky, back to you.
If you drive around downtown Elon right now, you'll still see lots of fallen tree branches from last week's ice storm. The Board of Aldermen says cleanup can take up to 4 weeks. The board held an emergency meeting Friday afternoon to discuss the issue. The board estimates the total cost of the cleanup will be a maximum of $275,000 if the aldermen don't get reimbursed by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Phillips and Jordan Incorporated will assist with the cleanup.
We were asking afterwards, I said, okay, this company, what kind of experience do they have in cleaning up? And they said, well, They're pretty experienced. They actually cleaned up Katrina and the World Trade Center, so we said, oh, I think ELN might be okay.
With a winter weather advisory in effect this morning, many wondered if the wacky weather roulette would land on snow again. Late this afternoon, the arrow stopped on snow as a light winter mix sprinkled campus. But with 4 days until spring, is an end in sight? Eric Halpern joins us in the studio with this week's 5-day forecast.
Good evening, Megan and Sky. You're looking at live video of downtown Elon. As you can see, not too much action out there right now, just really cold. Needless to say, the beginning of midterms week hasn't just been a mess in the classroom. Rain, snow, ice, we've had it all out there today. That's freezing rain, messy mixture precipitation will stick with us until about midnight, but brighter days are ahead. Here's your Phoenix 5-day forecast. We'll still be chilly tomorrow with highs only in the low 40s, and unfortunately clouds will still be around. But take a look at Thursday and Friday. Morning walks to class could be a bit cold, but the afternoons will be looking at sunny skies. On top of all that, we'll have highs in the mid-60s to low 70s. There may be some rain on Saturday, but hey, maybe you're headed to some warmer places for spring break anyways. To put it in perspective, highs in Miami next week will be in the mid-80s. Sky and Megan, back to you.
You might not believe it because of the weather, but today is Sunshine Day. It's a day where government transparency advocates promote their cause and examine public records availability. Journalists, students, and government officials were among many who spent the day in Lakeside Hall receiving public records training. Director of the U.S. Open Data Institute, Waldo Jaquith, delivered the keynote address, and there were sessions on transparency in Raleigh and open data.
Transparency in government is the foundation of democracy. It allows the public to have trust in their government officials, that the work that their government officials are doing is beneficial for them.
Today is also St. Patrick's Day. You're looking at video of Dublin, Ireland's St. Patrick's Day parade. But did you know St. Patrick isn't really Irish?
St. Patrick was born in modern-day Great Britain before he was kidnapped by Irish brigands and brought to Ireland at 16. But because no one in the 5th century knew him as British, the accurate way to describe him is a Celtic Briton or the son of a low-level Roman official. If you're looking to get into St. Patrick's Day spirit, you won't have to travel far. West End and Festivus are hosting a St. Patty's Day party at West End Terrace tonight. The party starts at 10, and there will be performances by Knockout Perez and DJ Adsman. Spurge Carter, Z Como, and Santiago and Peter Daskas will also be playing. Admission for people underage is $5, and for those over 21, the cover is $3.
Only a couple days and midterms separate us from spring break. Coming up, we'll tell you some options for last-minute plans that won't break your bank.
He's not exactly Oscar de la Hoya, but stick around because later in the show, our executive producer learns how to box.
Elon Local News will be right back. Before we go, here's a look at downtown Elon.
Some common spring break destinations for Elon students this year are Cancun, Mexico, Panama City Beach in Florida, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. But if your destination is Elon, there is more for you to do than the Route and West End Terrace. Ashley Boley has tips to make the most out of your staycation spring break in this week's College Consumer.
Just 4 days and a couple midterms separate us from spring break. Now, if your schoolwork has gotten the best of you and you completely forgot to make plans, don't worry. There are still options to have a day trip or overnight stay by going to popular and cheap places around North Carolina. First, Asheville. The Blue Ridge Mountains have a lot to offer and are only a 3-hour drive from campus. While you are in Asheville, you can take a tour of the Biltmore Estate. The Biltmore is a 175,000 square foot home and is the largest privately owned home in the United States. If you're more of an outdoorsy person, then perhaps hiking or biking in Pisgah National Forest is more for you. Pisgah has rivers, waterfalls, and trails, plus you can camp, fish, or even ride horses. Second, a mere 25-minute drive from Elon is Greensboro. This city has lots of excellent shops at Friendly Shopping Center, like White House Black Market, Anthropology, Brooks Brothers, and REI. You can also learn about the famous 1960 Greensboro sit-ins at the International Civil Rights Center and Museum. And later, if you are looking for a good place for dinner, Dame's Chicken and Waffles is close to downtown and was named the 13th best restaurant in America by Gear Patrol. Finally, Raleigh is just an hour drive from campus and has excellent museums like the North Carolina Museum of Natural Science and the North Carolina Museum of Art. Both are cheap ways to spend a day and are a good way to keep the brain gears grinding over spring break. For more ideas and more information on the trips, check out elonlocalnews.com. Looking out for the college consumer, I'm Ashley Boley.
And if you are leaving town for spring break, make sure you stay safe. I have a quick tip for you if you plan to be in the sun. Don't forget to pack sunscreen. I know you want to get tan as fast as possible, but it's super important to apply sunscreen the first day that you hit the beach so that you don't get burns. I like to use a moisturizer with sunscreen already in it so I don't forget to put sunscreen on my face. Now I hope your spring break weather is as nice as when we shot that, but for more tips on how to stay safe and healthy over spring break, join me on ELN Morning tomorrow at 9:50 a.m.
Study abroad and service learning programs are two ways Elon University tries to promote civic engagement, but safety is another concern.
Our Michelle Alfini is live in the studio with more.
Honduras has had the highest murder rate in the world since 2010, and the intense crime and violence caught the attention of Elon. Honduras is the target country for the Periclean class of 2016, but the crime has the university concerned about how safe it is for students to travel there.
Periclean scholars partner with service organizations in countries of great need, and sometimes that means working in dangerous areas.
I saw some of the things that could have been dangerous, and I heard stories from the people that we worked with down there that made me believe that Tegucigalpa was dangerous.
Sophomore Christian Gilbert spent last fake break in Honduras, the focus country for his class of Periclean scholars. But getting there was not easy. That's because Elon does not sponsor trips to unsafe countries, and the U.S. State Department gave Honduras a travel advisory in December. But the Pericleans got special permission to travel after the university heard testimony from Karen Gott, the director of their partner organization, Hope for Honduran Children.
Those safety precautions were a Special Forces trained police officer as our security guard, present at all times, a gated compound that we never leave alone, and we had to explain the fact that the area that we were in wasn't actually an area of danger.
The Pericleans got an exception, but some groups on campus weren't so lucky. The Global Education Center canceled what had been an annual alternative spring break trip to Honduras.
Ultimately, what we would have needed to do for that would have taken away from the kind of core mission of our program.
Wanting to travel to Honduras, Evan Small of the Kernodle Center understands safe conditions are necessary before working with local communities. So instead, the center is offering a similar trip to Guatemala.
We want to create something that will stay in Honduras, something that can grow, something that impacts people's lives in a meaningful way.
Even with the possible dangers, Gilbert believes service abroad is important and will be headed to Costa Rica for an alternative spring break.
Because of crime and violence throughout Honduras, there are no current plans for an Elon group to return there. But next week, students will head to Jamaica, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and the Dominican Republic for alternative spring breaks. Live in the studio, I'm Michelle Alfini, Elon Local News.
One Elon senior won't be getting a job after graduation. Instead, she'll be traveling the world. Alice Sudlow will be going on the World Race, a journey to 11 countries in 11 months to do service. The World Race aims to bring people out of their comfort zone and give them exposure to the world. As an English literature and French double major, this was not in Sudlow's original plan of becoming a book editor. But Sudlow hopes to have a positive impact on the places she visits.
For me, it's kind of a way of letting go and trusting God, because I know what I want to do and this doesn't fit with that. And so it's really a matter of trust and faith that God will give me a fulfilling life if I trust him where he wants me to go.
Did you know the senior vice president of ELN has a special talent? We'll show you what it is after the break.
And speaking of talents, does Jeff have a future in boxing? Find out later in the show. With only 68 days until graduation, seniors, you don't want to miss this spring convocation. President Emeritus Dr. Earl Danley will share stories from his 7 decades at ELN, where he was a student, professor, president, and beloved figure. Convocation is on April 2nd, and tickets are free with your Phoenix card or $13 for the general public. Seniors who wish to process into convocation in their graduation robe will not need a ticket.
That's ELN's senior vice president singing. Gerald Whittington shared his talent on Thursday during College Chapel. Whittington sang a song written by Leonard Bernstein in 1971 in honor of John F. Kennedy. Whittington said he considers the piece to be both contemporary and classical.
The ELN University Department of Performing Arts presented its annual spring dance concert last weekend. The concert featured many different styles of dance choreographed by 5 ELN dance professors and 1 guest choreographer. The theme of the recital was looking back to spring forward, to symbolize how the past affects our future and how we can grow from it. Sophomore dance major Kayla McGrath danced in 3 of the numbers and explained what dancing in this show means to her.
I've performed my entire life, so I feel like being on stage is just an experience that I can't get through anything else. So just getting the opportunity to perform in front of new people, new surroundings is awesome.
Columbia University professor Samuel Moyen spoke about the connection between human rights and the Holocaust in the McGribe Gathering space on Thursday. He discussed how the Holocaust transformed what human rights are today. He believes our society still doubts the capacities of the state to bring us national welfare. Moyen voiced his opinion when asked about his favorite part of student reactions.
I really enjoyed the response. Students raised their hand and asked really interesting, penetrating questions.
ELN's Jewish Life program was honored as one of the top 7 stellar Hillels you haven't heard of by Hillel International. Hillel International praised ELN's program for becoming an integral part of campus life and for helping create an inclusive and welcoming campus. The Sklut Hillel Center was also praised for feeling like a comfy Jewish home.
It was bow time for Zeta Beta Tau on Friday, but the Bojangles wasn't for a tailgate. The historically Jewish fraternity held its second Bojangles Shabbat of the year on Friday. Shabbat is a Jewish day of rest that happens every Friday and is signified by the lighting of candles and blessings before dinner. The event was open to people of all faiths. Sophomore Jacob Penn says it's a great way to meet people and learn about another culture.
Not only does it, increase our relations with Hillel, it's a great way to meet you guys, and females, Jewish, non-Jewish, sort of, we open our doors to the community, show them how we do it as a historically Jewish fraternity.
We've been telling you about it all show, and after the break, it's here.
Our executive producer learns how to box.
Not to knock Jeff, but before we see him box, I'll have highlights from ELN's real athletes after the break. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Rajat Agarwal. We begin with an update on ELN women's soccer standout Nicole Denyon, who was recently diagnosed with cancer. Our Sarah Russell has more.
In the fall, Nicole Denyon, known to her friends as Coley, was ELN's women's soccer star forward.
Extremely explosive, highly competitive, did not care what people thought she was out there to go win. And that was what immediately, as a coach, made me want to recruit her.
Dinian helped Elon win 13 games on the pitch. Now her teammates and coach want her to win another battle, this one against bone cancer.
That was just first instinct, try to help out.
Coach Neal and the soccer team launched a GoFundMe account to raise money to help with Dinian's expenses. The team raised more than $27,000 in their first week. The website has not only attracted the Elon community, but the soccer community as well.
Also, our players at this point understand how strong our Elon women's soccer family is. Not just the immediate team, but the alumni, the previous families, etc.
And Dinian is not taking this support for granted. She is back home and will receive treatment at Fox Chase Cancer Center in Philadelphia. She says she is learning a lot from the experience, and in an email to ELN wrote, "I am never going to complain about an 8 a.m. class, a weight session, and 8 p.m. practice ever again. The things I would do to do any of those things are endless." Teammate Kate Murphy is also learning from Dinian's strength and says she is an inspiration.
And I think it's also given us a new found strength and, sense of togetherness that we're, coming together to back her.
Dinian says she is ready to tackle the challenges she faces and looks forward to returning to the field. Sarah Russell, Elon Local News.
Almost $30,000 has been raised for Dinian so far. If you'd like to support her, please visit her GoFundMe account called Kicking It with Coley. Sticking with soccer, the men's team took the field Saturday for the first time since defeating Clemson in the NCAA tournament. The three-time reigning Southern Conference champions welcomed two teams to Rudd Field for spring scrimmages. Elon battled the Wilmington Hammerheads to a 1-1 draw and edged out the Raleigh Amateurs 2-1. Elon also welcomed back former soccer standout Brad Franks, who will be on the sideline once again, this time as an assistant coach.
Good to be back. It's a little bit weird being sitting on the bench as opposed to playing on the field. I remember spring games like that, 2 games in a day. And
Elon baseball is also in action this weekend. They welcome 15-2 Georgia Southern to Latham Park this weekend for their first Southern Conference showdown of the season. Mike Kennedy's Phoenix took the first game from the Eagles 1-0 on Friday, led by a phenomenal complete game shutout by junior Lucas Backer. Due to expected inclement weather, a doubleheader was played on Saturday to decide the series. The Eagles' bats came alive, taking the game 7-4, leading to a deciding third game. It was a back-and-forth affair. We pick it up in the bottom of the 8th with the game knotted at 2. Elon's Andy Moore comes through with a single down the right field line. That brings the go-ahead runner. Elon will tack on another in the inning, and from there, the Elon defense closed it out. Elon wins 4-2 and gets the series victory over Georgia Southern.
When it came down to it, we made the plays, we got the hits. It was a little frustrating the second game getting that loss, but we bounced back. We learned how to flush the loss, and
I thought we pitched really well. Obviously starting conference play, you want to try to win a weekend. Our goal every weekend is to win 2 out of 3, and we were able to accomplish that goal.
And finally, it's the most wonderful time of the year for sports, March Madness. Get those brackets ready. I'm taking Syracuse to win it all, and if you'd like some friendly competition, listen up. Elon's chapter of Delta Delta is having a bracket contest this week. You can make picks in the Mosley Center, and the people with the top brackets win gift cards. Entries are free, but donations to St. Jude's are accepted.
Before we end our broadcast, we always cover students who compete in sports, but there are some students who just do it for fun.
Our Jeff Ackerman introduces us to one student who's hitting the mark punch by punch.
Every time he puts on his boxing gloves and throws a punch, senior Shane Lau recalls one of his favorite sports.
We work at it, like when I first started boxing, the workouts were so intense, it would leave you dead pretty much after like an hour.
He started boxing when he was in high school. He did karate for most of his life, but decided he wanted to try a similar sport.
It's a really good workout, and yeah, I like the cardio it gives you. And yeah, I just thought it was fun.
And the hard-hitting sport comes with challenges. That's because it isn't always a safe one. Lau has had 3 separate concussions.
I mean, there's a lot of contact, obviously. Being a bit smaller, it's like you have to, sometimes like a lot of these boxers are like huge and you have to like punch up to them.
But it's still one of his favorite hobbies. He doesn't train at a gym anymore, but still gets a thrill every time he puts on those gloves. I asked Lau to show me how to box,
1, 2, 3.
and I quickly learned it's not as easy as it looks. After 2 minutes, I was out of breath. I'm a pro. Despite the daunting workout, Lau says it's worth it. And if you're interested in learning how to box, he has one tip for you.
Dive right into it, absorb as much information as you can. The best way to learn how to box is just box.
Jeff Ackerman, ELN Local News.
Jeff is definitely talented. I did not know he could punch that hard. I definitely will not be turning in my scripts late to him anymore.
Yeah, not at all. I give him credit. I don't think I could have done that one. Whew, man.
So Rashad, what's going on in sports this week?
Yeah, big week for ELN baseball. That will be the focus for ELN athletics. They have 10th ranked, 10 in their nation, NC State on Wednesday, and then a big weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a series with Western Carolina. They were picked to win the Southern Conference this year, so ELN baseball has their hands full this week.
Great, thanks Rashad.
Be sure to tune in to ELN Morning tomorrow at 9:50, and for 24/7 coverage, make sure to log on to elonlocalnews.com.
And be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For Megan Ford and Rashad Agarwal, I'm Sky Cowens. Have a great week, ELN.